My dear students, today let us see about branch account. So far we have seen departmental accounts. Now we are going to see about branch. Above all, we should know what is the difference between the branch and the departmental stores. What is the difference? There are 4 or 5 differences are there. First of all, you have to bear in mind. The first difference is maintenance of accounts either at branch or head office. Either at branch. So account treatment, account maintenance will be held either at branch or head office in the case of branch. But in departmental accounts, the accounts are to be maintained at only one place. And then next important point, no apportionment of common expenses. We have already seen how to apportion the common expenses between departments on the basis of electricity, on the basis of number of workers, on the basis of the machine value like that. So here, as far as branch is concerned, no apportionment of common expenses is allowed. So no need of apportioning of common expenses in case of branches. Whereas the apportionment on suitable and equitable basis. We had already cleared, we had already explained each and everything here. And then this also you have to bear in mind. And then income and expenditure. First of all, you should know there are 4 type of transactions we have to recognize in case of branches. What are the 4 type of transactions? Income, expenditure, assets and liabilities. These 4 are recognized each and every branches, whereas in departmental accounts only income and expenditure are to be prepared. Understand? There is no need of recognition of income, expenditure, assets and liabilities in case of departmental accounts. And then for independent branch, I am going to talk about reconciliation. Normally there is a reconciliation is needed in case of branches between head office and branches. But here for independent, if it is an independent branch, there is need of recognition. But departmental accounts, there is no issue of reconciliation of departmental accounts with the head office account. And then if it is a foreign branch, there should be a need for conversion of figures of foreign branch as per accounting standards requirements. AS means accounting standards. You might have studied in CA foundation itself. So according to accounting standard requirements, we have to convert the figures of foreign branch into our indigenous currency. But there is no need, no such accounting issue in department accounts. So these are the main points that you have to bear in mind while studying about the branch and the departmental accounts. Please bear in mind. Now let's see about the classification of branch. The branch is classified into 2 headings. The one is local branch and another is foreign branch. Local branch within the state and within India. The foreign branch, if we have any branch in foreign countries, that is called foreign branch. Local branch is further divided into 2. One is independent branch and dependent branch. What is independent branch? Independent branch is nothing but the branch maintains its own records independently. Any branch maintaining its accounts independently, that branch is called independent branch. Dependent branch, the whole of affairs, the whole of accounting records of branches are kept at the head office only. If all records of the branch are kept at the head office, that branch is called dependent branch. So these are the main points you have to bear in mind. And then a year before the last year, one important question asked in CA intermediate. That question is, why the goods are invoiced while sending goods to branch? Goods are invoiced means what? It is not sending the goods to branch sometimes at the cost price. It is supplying the goods only on invoice price. Why? What is the reason? This question has been asked a year before the last year. What is the answer? The head office, in order to maintain the confidentiality, they are sending the goods to the branch at the invoice price. If, for example, if the branch knows what is the cost of the product, then they will doubt how much of profit they are earning by I mean the profits, the quantum of the profits earned by the head office. So in order to not to reveal the actual profit the earned by the head office, so they are supplying at invoice value. And then control, if it is invoice value, if all branches are requested to sell at a fixed price, that is invoiced price, the controlling process is very easy for the head office. So in order to maintain the control, they are supplying the goods on invoice value. And then rewarding employees. Rewarding employees means what? Some branch will earn more, some branch will earn less. So according to the performance of the branches, the rewarding means nothing but the salary increment and then bonus etc. will be decided according to the performance of each and every branches. And then in order to maintain uniform price policy. Uniform price policy means what? If the head office is in Chennai, the branches, all over the branches, I mean in Coimbatore, Chennai, I mean Coimbatore, Erode, Trichy, Kadalur. If there are so many branches, if you ask for particular product, the same price will be charged even in head office, even in branches in Kadalur, even in Chennai. So in order to maintain the uniform price, they are supplying the goods to the branches at the invoiced value. Clear? Let us look into the accounting treatment of independent branch. If the transaction, the goods sent to branch by head office, then what will be the journal entry in the books of head office and in the books of branch book? So we have to see one by one. If the goods sent to branch by head office, what will be the journal entry? If they are supplying the goods to branch, who will be receiving the product? I mean the supplying, the branch will receive. So debit the receipt. A branch account debtor to, here one title we have to use. While we are sending goods from head office to branch, this heading is necessary. Goods sent to branch account. So to goods sent to branch account, is to be credited in case of head office book. In the books of branch, what will be the entry? Actually we are receiving, as far as the branch is concerned, we are receiving goods from head office. So goods received. While we are received, we have to make one heading, that's goods received from head office account, head office to, which one is to be credited? Credit the giver. Head office supplying the goods, so he is the giver. So head office account. So this is the first journal entry. And then if the goods returned, now normal. So initially we have supplied the goods. Now the same goods or some portion of the goods returned by the branch. What will be the entry? Only this entry will be reversed. While we are supplying branch account to goods sent to branch account. While the goods returned by the branch to the head office, the entry will be reversed. So, goods sent to branch account debtor to branch account. Clear? The reverse entry we have to make here. Likewise, in branch book also, while we are receiving goods from the head office, goods received from head office to head office account. If we are returning some goods to the head office, the journal entry will be reversed. So head office account debtor to goods received from head office. Clear? And then expenses of branch paid by head office. So the expenses belong to the branch, but it is paid. It has been paid by the head office. So we have to debit the branch account in head office book. Only for branch. Actually, this is the branch expenses. So for branch expenses, the expenses was paid by head office. So what will be the journal entry? Branch account debtor to, here what it's going? Bank account or cash account? Cash or bank account. But here the expenses belong to the branch. So directly debit all expenses and losses. So expenses should be debited here. So expenses account debtor Who has paid that amount? Head office. So credit the giver. So head office account. Clear? This is the third journal entry. And in branch expenses paid by branch itself. The expenses incurred in branch, it has been paid by the branch. So there is no entry here. No entry. So the expenses met out by the branch itself. So the payment gone, and then expenses account data to cash or bank. Clear? And the next point, purchases by branch from parties other than head office. Normally head office are supplying the goods at invoice price. It is different. Apart from that, if any purchases made by branch from parties, they are directly purchasing from parties. But if there is no effect, no entry here, because branch has purchased from its creditors, either by cash or on credit. So what will be the journal entry? As far as branch is concerned, it is to be entered in purchases account. So purchases account data. If it is cash purchases, so cash or bank to be credited, bank account, purchases account data to cash. If it is credit purchase, then purchases account data to creditors account. So purchases account data to or creditors account if it is a credit purchase. Understand? Next transaction, sales made by branch. So there will be no entry here in head office book, but because the sales directly made by branch, if it is a cash sales, what will be the entry? Cash account data, cash or bank account data to sales. Clear? If it is credit sales, then sundry debtors account data to sales. Clear? And then collection from debtors received by head office. There is a credit sale by branch. This is sundry debtors. For sundry debtors, it has supplied. So amount we have to receive. The branch has to receive amount from sundry debtors. But instead of branch receiving the payment from debtors, head office received the amount. If head office received the amount, what will be the entry here? The bank account data. Understand? Bank account data. On behalf of whom he has received that amount? On branch account. So to branch account. Clear? Here, what entry? We are in branch. On behalf of, because our amount it has been received by head office. So, what will be the entry here? Actually, sundry debtors is given the amount. Who has received that amount? Head office received the amount. So, debit the receiver, head office account data. Credit the giver. Who has given that amount? The sundry debtors. And send. So, to debtors account or sundry debtors account. Clear? And then payment by head office for purchases made by branch. Normally, if purchases made by branch, normally the branch has to meet out that purchase cost. But here, the payment by head office. So, on here, what will be the entry? On behalf of branch, it has paid. So, branch account should be debited. Branch account should be debited. Account data to the payment made by the head office. So, credit the giver. Credit what goes out there? By bank to bank or cash. Understand? Here, what will be the journal entry here? Actually, the purchases. The purchases to be entered. So, purchases account data. Who has made the payment? Head office. So, credit the giver. So, head office account to be credited. Clear? If the payment made by head office for purchases made. For example, if the purchases made means if if it is a credit purchase already made, and then for that he has paid that amount, means it may be another entry, creditors account debtor to head office. Understand? If it is a credit purchase, the payment we have to pay, I mean the branch has to pay. Instead of paying branch, that amount has been paid by head office. So creditors should be debited and head office, because it is a giver, so it may be, there may be any one entry. If it is a directly purchase, the purchase is accounted to head office account. And then if it is already it is a credit purchase, now the payment made by the head office, then creditors accounted to head office account. And then purchases of assets by branch. Purchases of assets by branch means there will be no entry here, because only the branch assets. So sundry assets account debtor to bank. Sundry assets account debtor. If it is a plant and machinery, the relevant plant and machinery should be debited. If it is a furniture account should be debited. So sundry assets account debtor to, if it is a cash payment, to cash account or bank. If it is a credit payment, to supplier account. Account to be credited. Clear? This is the important type of transaction. Assets maintained at head office and assets purchased by the branch. The branch has purchased some assets, but they are not maintaining the assets in their books. All assets and liabilities are maintained in the head office book. In these circumstances, if the assets are purchased by branch, what will be the journal entry in head office book and branch book? Here, actually, the assets, instead of assets, it will treat it as branch assets. So branch assets debited in head office book, branch assets debited, branch assets account debtor to who has back that amount, who has paid that amount, branch. So he is the giver. So branch should be credited. Clear? But here they are no, they are not necessary. I mean they are not maintaining the assets in their books. All the books of assets and liabilities are maintained in head office book. So head office account should be debited, because only on behalf of head office they are purchasing some assets for which they are paying the payment. Even if they are paying the payment, the head office account should be debited in branch book. So head office account debtor to cash or bank. Clear? And then depreciation when asset is maintained by head office. So in these same circumstances, if the depreciation is to be charged, what will be the journal entry in head office book? Nothing, no problem. The reverse entry will be the for depreciation. Understand? So the branch account debtor to branch asset. Here what will be the entry? But the depreciation should be debited. Depreciation account debtor to head office account. Because everything, even asset and depreciation, everything will be charged, and they are preparing each and every assets and depreciation also in head office itself. So this is clear. And then remittance of funds by head office to branch. So the amount is sent by head office to branch. Who is the receiver? Branch is the receiver. Who is the payer? Head office is the payer. So now we are paying to the branch account. So who will be the receiver here as far as head office is concerned? Branch. So branch account debtor to cash or bank. Clear? Here actually we are receiving some amount from head office. So debit what comes in. So cash account debtor or bank account debtor to head office account, because credit the giver. If the remittance of funds by head office, I mean remittance of funds to head office by branch. So head office is receiving some funds from branch. So debit what comes in. So cash account debtor or bank account debtor to credit the giver branch account. Clear? Here it is a paying, branch is paying. So who is receiving? Head office. So head office account data to cash or bank. Understand? And then another important transaction, please be careful. Transfer of goods between branches. One branch sends goods to another branch. Then what will be the journal entry in the books of head office and the particular branch? Here we will treat it as this branch is A. For example, we can treat it as A branch. B branch supplying goods to A. Then what will be the entry in head office book? So head office book will enter here this type of transaction. Receiving branch account data to supplying branch. Here who is receiving receiving branch? The receiving branch is A. So branch A account data to branch B account. Clear? So this is a receiving branch account data, supplying branch account. As far as we are concerned, even we are receiving some goods from branch B, it is supposed to be receiving from head office. So two entry we can pass, that is better. What will be the entry? Supplying branch. Who is the supplying branch? B branch. So B branch account data to goods received from head office. This is one more entry. Another entry we have to put, that entry goods received from head office account data to head office account. If you see, this is a credit entry, this is a debit entry, it will be cancelled. So what will be the entry? B branch account data to head office account. You can put it enough. This is also enough. Understand? Be clear. And then charging branch for time and effort spent by head office. Sometimes the head office will depute some personnel in order to supervise or some doing some services to the branches. At that time, they will charging some charges. Head office will charge. That charge will be the income for the head office. So income always will be the credit. So what will be the entry here? Branch expenses account data. I mean branch account. Actually, this is expense. Branch account data to service charges, because service charges it is an income to head office account. So head office income should be credited and then branch should be debited. Here what will be the expenses? As far as the branch is concerned, it is an expense. So expenses account data to head office account. Clear?